Quarter past the hour now. More on Fox Top Story and fallout over President Trump's extreme vetting travel ban and the battle over confirming his next Attorney General nominee, the Senator Jeff Sessions. Let's bring in Josh Gerstein. He's a senior political reporter for Politico and Politico.com. Good to see you.
Shep, good to see you.
Where's this going?
Well, it seems that what Trump did in discharging Sally Yates, whether he was effectively forced into it or not by her, has really inflamed Democrats, and that coupled with the protests over the weekend, coupled with that travel ban immigration order itself, sort of has Democrats in a lather where they are unwilling to go along with anything the Trump administration wants to do in terms of its nominees. And it certainly looks like they're now going to try to gum up the Senate process pretty thoroughly on Capitol Hill. But
beyond the gum up, as you describe it, is there anything they can do effectively to keep him from becoming what Trump wants him to become?
In terms of Sessions, eventually, if all Republicans go along, they can force his confirmation. I think one of the big questions here, though, is whether we're seeing a prelude to the battle over the Supreme Court nominee that we're going to hear about tonight. Are Democrats going to go to the mat over this nominee? Because many people expected Democrats would make noise about the coming nominee to the Supreme Court, but probably not have an all-out fight against that person because they'd be saving that for Trump's next Supreme Court nominee, who might really swing the court in a conservative direction. In the current environment, I think many Democrats may decide to go to the mat this time over this particular nominee.
That's interesting because so many are still upset with the way they handled themselves under President Obama with an opening that they never even filled.
That's exactly right. I mean, there are still a lot of hard feelings over the way the Merrick Garland nomination was handled by Senate Republicans, the fact that they effectively blocked it for 10 months. And so I think we'll hear a lot when this Supreme Court nominee from Trump is rolled out, that Democrats don't really care that much about his qualifications. They're not going to debate that issue. They're going to say, look, this is a tit-for-tat situation. You know, Republicans blocked a qualified Democratic nominee for 10 months without a good reason in the view of Democrats, and perhaps Democrats are going to try to give Republicans some of their own medicine on this.
On the matter of the travel ban, there's a new development that I want to update our viewers on. There was a dissent sent up the chain in the State Department a couple of days ago on this matter. We're all well aware of this, like 100 people signed it. After that, excuse me, the White House came and said, look, if you're not on board with this, just get out. Well, that was widely seen as a sort of flying in the face of the dissent channel. The dissent channel is this means put into place in 1970 that allows employees to send up the chain of command all the way to the Secretary of State, dissent on a matter if they think it important or outside the realm of things that are American or whatever it is they think. They have 2 days before the State Department is to respond to them, and 30 to 60 days they get a formal response. It's an important thing there because after Vietnam, dissent, which was seen in hindsight as important, was overlooked at the time. They're trying to make it, and importantly, you can't be acted against because of this. Reprisals are specifically forbidden. Now we've just learned from the reporting of the Associated Press and Matthew Lee that some 800 people a State Department official says they have signed onto a cable saying that what Donald Trump did was wrong, and they're sort of defying their order of sit down and shut up. Is there any chance that this might get some traction?
Well, I mean, there's no question that there are a lot of security and diplomatic professionals across the government who doubt the efficacy of Trump's order. I noted that General Kelly said earlier today that he had the responsibility to protect American lives. But as you probably know, Shep, many national security professionals say that having headlines saying Christians are being given a preference, that kind of propaganda around the world may not be helpful to U.S. counterterrorism efforts. It could potentially put troops and diplomats overseas in harm's way.
Josh Gerstein, senior reporter for Politico. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Shep.